I didn't see you there. My name is Stephen Condiff, and in my group is Kelly Murray, Stuart Lee, Marissa Stewart, and Sam Czar. We are doing our presentation on Thomas Paine. Please enjoy. Thomas Paine was born in England in 1737. He had little formal education, but he did learn to read, write, and perform arithmetic. At the age of 13, he began working with his father as a corset maker. He later worked as an officer of the excise, hunting smugglers and collecting liquor and tobacco taxes.
Bada pull it, Jake Nielsen.
He did not excel at this job, nor at any other early job, and his life in England was, in fact, marked by repeated failures.
No, why?
To make matters worse, Paine's wife and child both died in childbirth. His business of making corsets went under. In the summer of 1772, Paine published The Case of the Officers of Excise, a 21-page article in defense of higher pay for excise officers. It was his first political work, and he spent that winter in London handing out the 4,000 copies of the article to members of Parliament. Paine was later fired from the excise office and began to see his outlook as bleak. Luckily, he soon met Benjamin Franklin, who advised him to move to America and provided him with the letters of introduction to the newly formed nation. Paine arrived in Philadelphia on November 30th, 1774, taking up his first regular employment helping to edit the Pennsylvania Magazine. Paine had arrived in America as the conflict between the colonists and England had reached a fever pitch. Although events had not yet become violent, within 5 months of Paine's arrival, however, the precipitating event to his most famous work would occur. After the battles of Lexington and Concord, which were the first military engagements of the American Revolutionary War, Paine argued that America should not simply revolt against taxation, but demanded independence from Great Britain entirely. He expanded this idea in a 50-page pamphlet called Common Sense. While not a natural soldier, Paine contributed to the Patriot cause by inspiring the troops with his 16 crisis papers, which appeared between 1776 and 1783.
These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, strengthen the service of his country. But he that stands, is it now, deserves the love and thanks of men and women. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. Yet we have the consolation with us that the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph.
What we obtain too cheap, we esteem too lightly. This dearness only that gives everything its value. Heaven knows how to set a proper price on its good, and it would be strange indeed if so celestial an article as freedom should not be highly rated.
Britain, with an army to enforce her tyranny, has declared that she has a right not only to tax, but to bind us all in cases whatsoever. And if being bound in that manner in slavery is not slavery, then there is no such thing as slavery at all.
Even the expression is impious, for so unlimited a power can belong only to God. Whether the independence of the continent was declared too soon or delayed too long, I will not now enter into as an argument. My own simple opinion is that had it been 8 months earlier, it would have been much better.
One felt all that anger which a man ought to feel against the mean principles that are held by the Tories. A noted one, who knew a tavern of Amboy, was standing at his door with as pretty a child in his hand, about 8 or 9 years old, as most I ever saw, and after speaking his mind freely, as he thought was prudent, finished with his unfatherly expression,
Well, give me peace in my day.
Not a man lives on the continent, but fully believes that a separation must sometime or other finally take place. And a generous parent would have said,
If there must be trouble, let it be in my day that my child may have peace.
And the single reflection, well applied, is sufficient to awaken every man to duty. Not a place upon earth might be so happy as America. Her situation is remote from all the wrangling world, and as she has nothing to do but to trade with them. A man may easily
distinguish in himself between temper and principle. And I am as confident as I am that God governs the world, that America will never be happy till she gets clear of foreign dominion. Wars without ceasing will break out till the period arrives, and that continent must be in the end to be conqueror, for though the flame of liberty may sometimes cease to shine, the coal can never expire.
America did not, nor does not, want force, but she wanted a proper application of that force. Wisdom is not the purchase of a day, and it is no wonder that we should err at first sitting off. From an excess of tenderness, we were unwilling to raise an army and trusted our cause to temporary defense of a well-meaning militia. A summer's experience has now taught us better. Yet with those troops, while they were collected, we were able to set bound to the progress of the enemy, and thank God, they are again assembling.
I turn with the warm ardor of a friend to those who have nobly stood, and are yet determined to stand the matter out. I call not upon a few, but upon all. Not on this state or that state, but on every state. Up and held us, lay your shoulders to the wheel. Better have too much force than too little. When so great an object is at stake, let it be told to the future world that in depth of winter, when nothing but hope and virtue could survive, that the city and the country, alarmed at one common danger, came forth to meet and to repulse it. See not that thousands are gone. Turn out your tens of thousands. Throw not the burden of the day upon providence, but
Show your faith by your works.
That God may bless you. It matters not where you live, or what rank of your life you hold. The evil or the blessing will reach you all. The far and the near, the home counties and the back, the rich and the poor, shall suffer or rejoice alike. The heart that feels not now is dead. The blood of his children shall curse his cowardice, who shrinks back at a time when a little might have saved the whole, and made them happy. I love the man that can smile in trouble, that can gather together from distress, and grow brave from reflection. 'Tis the business of little minds to shrink, but he who has heart is firm, whose conscience approves his conduct, will pursue his principles unto death. My own line of reasoning is to myself as straight and clear as a ray of light. Not all the treasures of the world, so far as I believe, could have induced me to support an offensive war, for I think it murdered.
If a thief break into my house, burn and destroy my property, and kill or threaten to kill me, or those that are in it, and to
Bind me in all cases whatsoever.
his absolute will am I to suffer it, what signifies it to me, whether he who does it is a king or common man, my countryman or not my countryman, whether it is done by an individual villain or an army of them. If we reason to the root of things, we shall find no difference. Neither can any just cause be assigned why we should punish in this one case and pardon in the other.
There are cases which cannot be overdone by language, and this is one. There are persons, too, who see not the full extent of the evil that threatens them. They solace themselves with hopes that the enemy, if they succeed, will be merciful. It is the madness of fully to expect mercy from those who have refused to do justice, and even mercy, where the conquest is the object, is only a trick of war. The cunning of the fox is as murderous as the violence of the wolf, and we ought to guard equally against both. So, what does make American literature American?
I think that has to do with like freedom and stuff.
It's American.
Well, I think American literature is literature written by someone in the point of view of an American of a certain time frame that's representing the mindset of Americans and what's really going on at that time. But that's just me.
How does literature shape or reflect society?
Well, it's like a mirror, man. It's like you look at it and it looks back at you.
Yes, it's a mirror.
Literature reflects the time frame of society by relating to common issues of that time.
Why are these primary documents necessary to the understanding of American literature now and as we continue?
Something about the past, right?
I mean, like, wouldn't the letters be technically American literature?
The documents of the past, such as the ones written by Thomas Paine, relate to important events in history and portray the written word of past American literature.